Alright, today we're making rice pudding. So first thing you need to do is put on a medium-sized saucepan and bring it to the boil. Once you've got the big bubbles, I've just fogged myself up, you're going to add a cup of rice and you're going to cook it for 5 minutes on boil. Stirring it occasionally. Once you're done, you're going to put it in your colander. Alright, so it's been cooking for 5 minutes with the big bubbles. You can see all the starch. I've left the lid off the whole time and I've just stirred it occasionally so it doesn't catch to the bottom of the pan. Now, the next step is to strain it in your colander. So turning that off, remembering it is warm. Pour this leftover bit in your saucepan, give it a rinse. You are going to reuse this pan now to do the next step. And turn it off. Alright, in the saucepan you just strained your rice from, you're going to put in 4 cups of milk. You're going to put in 2 cups of cream. You're going to put in half a cup of sugar, just caster sugar, and then a drop of vanilla essence. If you've got a vanilla bean, put a whole bean in. And then you're going to put this on the stove with your rice and cook it. Alright, so I'm just adding my strained rice, not any of the water. Remember, I've partially cooked it just for the 5 minutes. So I said 15 before, but I actually meant 40 minutes. So you're cooking it for 40 minutes on a low medium heat without a lid on. Make sure you keep the lid off and just stir it every now and then. So you're going to stir all that rice around and all that sugar, and you're going to reduce all the cream and milk, and it'll be a nice thick gluggy mix in about 40 minutes. Alright, my rice pudding has been cooking for a good 40 minutes. It has boiled over once, so it has had to be on low because it will make a big mess, and we've moved it over to the smaller flame so I didn't keep making more of a mess. So check the consistency. So I've eaten 1 piece to make sure it's the right texture for me. So what I'm going to do now is throw in a whole block of milk chocolate. I've just broken each piece up. This is not for you to eat beforehand, and you're going to put your whole block in. You're going to stir until that chocolate's melted, and then we're going to turn it off and add 4 egg yolks. So just stir it on low, then we need to let it cool before we add the egg yolks. Okay, our last step is to crack open our eggs. We want to keep the yolk, so you're going to put the whites aside for something else. So put your whites in one bowl, and then put your yolks in the other bowl. Now using a fork, just break these up. Now my rice pudding has been sitting on the bench for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Once you feel it's cool enough, you can slowly put in your egg yolk and just stir it through. Alright, so my whisked yolk, as you put it through, just stir. Now remember, this is no longer on the heat and it's just going to sit there. My rice pudding will have to sit until it's all finished, until my berry compote is done. So this takes a little while. I'll just sit in there until it's cool. Just mix all of that yolk in so it doesn't have a scrambled egg taste through it. leave it to cool and then have it with your compote. Alright, I've just turned my rice pudding off because I've just thrown my chocolate in, letting it cool. Next, in a medium-sized saucepan, I'm going to put in 400 grams of berries. Now you can pick whichever berry you'd like. The recipe does say rhubarb, but rhubarb is very expensive at the moment, so I've just chosen a frozen berry. I'm going to use half a cup of sugar and then quarter of a cup of milk. Water. Quarter of a cup of water. You are now just going to put this on the heat, stirring it on low for 15 minutes for it to break down. Okay, my berries are just on a medium heat, and you're just going to let them, as I said, simmer, reduce and cook down for about 15 minutes. What we want to see is all that sugar on the bottom there dissolve and cook into it. Make sure you leave the lid off. So whichever fruit you choose, it doesn't really matter, pick any frozen. You can at the end blend it all up in a blender, or if you want it chunky, leave it like this, or you can grab a fork and smush it to little pieces. It just depends on what texture you want for your berry compote. Now the berry compote's been going for a few minutes now. All that extra liquid that was in the berries has come out. So now we're just going to reduce it until all that liquid is gone. So as I said, it does take about 15. I do have it on a low temp because I don't want to obviously burn anything. And all the sugars then will, as it sits later on when it's cool, will just start sucking up that last of that liquid, and it'll turn into like a little sugar syrup, which will make it even more delicious. Alright, so I've taken this off the heat about an hour ago and I've put it in some Tupperware to let it cool. It has thickened a lot while it's sitting here. You can see it's sucked up a lot of that liquid. So now to present it, you are going to use a ladle, 1.5 scoops maybe, depending on how hungry you are, how much of a sweet tooth you've got. Then you're going to put a bit of your berry compote. Now I didn't buzz mine up, I like it chunky. So if you want to put some liquid on there as well, you can. And then you're going to put a bit of white chocolate on for garnish. Now if you've got some greenery in the garden, I've just got a little bit of mint. So you can put a little bit of mint down for a bit of colour as well.